Begin tonight with Chris Cillizza, journalist, senior advisor to the GA Group, and NewsNation contributor. We have kindly changed the graphic to your Substack, okay, rather than the Dow futures.
That was on my list of demands.
Oh, good. We're glad we can comply.
Hey, my friend.
Good to see you. I think there's another way to look at this, which is what I'm hearing from the American Midwest and from those who support Donald Trump, which is that everybody who has done well over the past 30 or 40 years and gotten very rich, Wall Street, Washington, D.C., the media, the donor class in America, are all squealing. Therefore, this must be right.
It's the old "the enemy of my enemy is my friend" theory of politics. You know, you and I have talked about this on air and off air before. I am out of the Donald Trump is definitely wrong business because the guy has defied the rules of political gravity so many times. Okay, so let me say that. With that said, caveat noted, I'm kind of with you that politically, in my mind, this is dumb. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, you don't care about the two parties. It's dumb because the near to midterm effect, even if the rosiest scenario winds up playing out, the near to mid effect is gonna be not great. It's gonna be higher prices. I mean, it's pretty simple. Now, Donald Trump's timeline is different than congressional Republicans' timeline, right? Donald Trump's timeline is, in theory, the end of 2028. It's a legacy move.
It's his legacy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're a congressional Republican, let's say you're North Carolina, you're Tom Tillis, right? We're in a state textile manufacturing. You are on the ballot in 2026. So if this is a long play that in the end of 2027 starts to come to fruition, that doesn't help you. So politically for the Republican Party, it's strategically dumb if you are trying to hold the House and keep the Senate in 2026. But this is your I don't care thing. I don't know that that's what he's focused on.
Well, it may not be what he's focused on. I think there's also something that we're not seeing here, which is the American workers, as evidenced by who Donald Trump brought to speak at the Rose Garden ceremony. Take a listen.
If I have watched plant after plant after plant in Detroit and in the metro Detroit area close. There are now plants sitting idle. There are now plants that are underutilized. And Donald Trump's policies are going to bring product back into those underutilized plants. There's going to be new investment. There's going to be new plants built.
All right, if it works, and this is my hypothesis, we learned from Joe Biden the economy is not what the numbers are, it's how people feel.
100%.
And if workers in these states and in these areas that have been howled out by offshoring of American manufacturing jobs, they may be paying slightly higher prices, but they are seeing a boom in the building of factories. There are help wanted signs out there. Their wages are going up because there is now demand for their skills and their labor. That may not feel as bad.
Well, if it works, is doing a lot there. I mean, you're right. Like, again, I'm not an economist, and I have repeatedly said everything I know about politics suggests what Donald Trump is doing is wrong, and the guy is now in his second term as president. I mean, I always put that in. I will just say, it feels a little to me, to believe that this will work. I think that Trump, in some ways, cultural reference-wise, his lens that he looks and everything, is a little bit stuck in the 80s. I don't mean that.
This isn't the 80s. This is the 70s and the 30s.
Yeah, fair enough. I laughed to myself, sitting by myself watching this today, when he made a reference to Lee Iacocca, who died in 2019. I was like, how many people know who Lee Iacocca is? But regardless, it's a bet that, in my mind, you can put the genie back in the bottle, right? That the globalism, that the interconnectivity of the economy can be reverse engineered in ways that benefit the American worker. You use the words either big bet or big gamble, I don't remember, but that to me is exactly what you have to see this as. This is a gigantic chip pushing on something where the odds are not, in my mind, politically speaking, 50-50.
Right. Now, again, he made this point, and because I think both you and I are skeptical of this and skeptical for the president in terms of for his popularity as
No, totally. Again, I'm no economist, so I'm not saying this will work or this won't work. Politically, this is a thing that is going to tank the stock. You're already seeing it, as you pointed out. It's going to hurt his poll numbers. There's going to inject uncertainty, right? Like
collective royal we of those in Washington who
Papal
know
plural.
all made a lot of the same predictions in his first term, which he spoke to. Take a listen.
From the day of my election, the stock market went up in my first term 88%, with NASDAQ going up 155%, more than any president has ever had in any term in office, by far. And I think we're going to blow that away.
History is written by the victors.
Totally, and he's not wrong about those numbers. The one thing I will say, and you mentioned this in the open, he did not pursue nearly as broad-based tariffs in the first term as he is doing as of today. We'll see. I mean, again,
well, if you want to use a metaphor, right? In the first term, he was betting a couple of cows. Now he's betting the farm. This is the American economy. Can he single-handedly remake the American economy? And there's probably a lot of Americans who said the American economy didn't work for me over the past 30 years. I'm happy to try something new.
Which is at least part and parcel of why he won in 2016 and in 2024. It's a big question mark for me about where this ends up when, let's say we're talking and it's October 2028, where we end up there. It is much more, in my mind, dangerous politically if it's October 2026, because that's not that far from now.
Bill O'Reilly yesterday said on Monday, very skeptical, and made the point it's really April of 2024. It's a year of this, and Donald Trump keeps saying these tariffs are going to be on forever. We're going to pay down the national debt with them, on and on and on. That really this is a negotiating tactic.
So if that is the case, and it's a month, right? If in a month, in May, we're not talking about this, or he's got to deal with the European Union or India or Brazil, then that's a different thing, right? I'm saying if he is committed to saying we are keeping these reciprocal tariffs on across all these different nations, we know what the near-term stock market and political impact will be, and it is not good for Republicans.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.